Hey, it's Ebony, Amara, Yankee in the South, back again with a video. I want to discuss a few things and topics today. I know I've been off the channel for a while, but I only kind of tend to post when I feel like when God wants me to, and I feel like a lot of people, which is nothing wrong with what they do, they post so they can get their views, which is awesome to do, but I don't think I'm here to rack up views. I think I'm just here to study with people who are willing to study and deep dive with people who are willing to deep dive with me on this channel. As you can see on this channel, I did mention a lot about chosen ones. There's a lot of channels that speak about chosen ones. I also identify as a chosen one. And so can you. You can identify as a chosen one. If you're chosen, you know you're chosen. We're here to do a work on the earth. So if you're with me, chosen one, the topic today that I want to talk about is childhood trauma. Most of us are in active relationships carrying our childhood traumas with us. And some of us can't even get in relationships because of the trauma and how it has placed our perspectives on different things, psychologically and emotionally. I feel like post-trauma, we need to learn how to regulate our nervous system, especially if you were traumatized as a child. And I'm speaking from experience because it took me a very long time to learn how to regulate my nervous system, to be able to socialize on a regular basis, or even interact with a romantic partner. A lot of things play out in those relationships. Whatever you experience in your childhood, a lot of those things play out in your relationship, whether you self-sabotage or you are not able to really understand the other person or the person's love language. Whatever is holding you back, a lot of it lies within childhood and the childhood trauma that we've experienced. To regulate your nervous system, it takes many years, and it's an ongoing process. So it's never a one and done thing. In hindsight, sometimes hindsight comes and really does a number on you. So if you experience something terrible and you just cry it out and you feel better, there's more than likely a chance that that emotion will return sooner or later. Like I said, healing is an ongoing process. It can take years to heal and regulate your nervous system. So give yourself some grace, all right? And allow yourself to feel the things that you're feeling. Sometimes it's very traumatic to remember what you experienced as a child. A lot of it is blocked out because of the trauma. The mind tends to block certain things out, but it comes back up. That's a lot of times why therapy is so important. It helps us to routinely regulate our mental hygiene. Therapy, get your routine psychological evaluations, and don't just wait until you may experience struggles in your friendships and your relationships to find out if you need help or if you need to speak to someone about some traumatic things that you may have experienced in your lifetime, specifically in your childhood, because they do play out in your adulthood and the decisions that you make as an adult. Yes, allow yourself the grace and allow yourself time to regulate between activities. Because certain things, it may take a toll on you. And a lot of us who have come through some trauma in our childhood, we tend to overcompensate because of the feeling of inadequacy instilled in us as children, whether we were experiencing any type of verbal abuse, mental abuse, psychological abuse, or physical or sexual abuse. There is a feeling of inadequacy that comes experiencing that type of abuse. you feel like you might have been the weakest one because they picked on you, and no one cared enough to help. Different things and emotion you may feel. Feel all those things. After you feel all those things, breathe that out and learn how to forgive that person that did not help you. Learn how to forgive the person that hurt you. And I'm not saying this as cliche because it's easier said than done. Forgiving the person that made your life a living hell. But that burden of having the animosity and resentment towards that person is what's going to hold you back. These things are given to us. These experiences are given to us in the beginning to break us so that we won't see our true potential as full-grown adults, as children of the living God. These traumatizing experiences was meant for you from the enemy to make sure that you don't reach your destination because you're stuck thinking about what was done to you. Stuck thinking, why me? You're stuck thinking that you are not good enough because of the things that happened to you. But you have to declare and decree that you are the righteousness of God. And that there are things that happen, but you're renewed. You're renewed. You're a new creature. In Christ Jesus, you're new. You're made new. And to operate in that. And don't let anyone or anything tell you that you're not that better version that God made you to be. Nothing could take away what God put inside of you. Either we're going to clear this energy to allow that thing to manifest, or we will remain stagnant like the enemy wants us to remain stagnant because of the pain, because we felt like we were being heard, even ignored during our suffering. The fact that someone can celebrate in your suffering, it could be very devastating. But this is not a drill. This is not a drill. And I've said that before. This is not a drill. We got to overcome this. We got to overcome this. And it's okay to feel those things that we feel. Allow the anger, because anger will arise. Allow those anger to motivate you to be a better person. Turn that negative energy and flip it into something positive. What you do today creates your tomorrow. So make it count. And if you got the energy and the motivation to want to get up and hurt somebody behind somebody hurting you, take that energy and motivation to build yourself instead. That's the best revenge. That's the best revenge you could ever issue out. That's the best revenge. That's the best revenge. But also, let's talk about isolation. Isolation is something that I am an expert on. I can get 2 months into the isolation and it's not good. There is a balance. So the topic I'm having here is isolation. Is it your friend or is it your foe? Let's look at some of the positive sides of isolation. Isolation, is it your friend or your foe? Isolation can help you to reset. Now, it's times where I'm out and about and I had a lot of interactions with people and I just want to go home, close the door and get in my room and go sleep. I just want to be alone. Isolation helps me to regulate my mood. I like isolation because it also helps me to think clearer. and to listen to God more, you know? So isolation does have its positive perks about it. Isolation can give you a sense of safety and security. Yeah, I feel very comfortable and safe by myself. Some people do too. They feel more comfortable in the confinements of their home, wherever that may be. Isolation if you have a certain treehouse that you like, or a certain spot that you like to go to that's less traveled, and find your place of solace. It can really make you feel at peace, safe and secure in your safe space. So isolation for me became one of my safe space because of the many experiences that I had before in the past as pertaining to friendships and such, Like I said, I'm a little expert at it, but isolation has definitely been something that I've utilized quite a lot and still do, to help me reset, to help me regulate, to spend time with God, and to listen for answers to the prayers that I pray. So that's good. Isolation is good in that sense. Also, isolation can deprive you of social growth. So these are the downsides of isolation. Socially, you will probably be pretty stunted when you have to interact with people outside of your safe bubble. Also, it can make you sensitive to external experiences. When you're isolated and then you come out of isolation and you experience something outside of the isolation, it can be amplified. You can be very sensitive to the situation. It can make you very sensitive. Like, for instance, if you're isolated and you're in a quiet, if you go to a carnival, if you go to a fair and you've just been isolated and you're around all these people, it can be extremely overwhelming. Especially if you're used to being isolated and they're used to quiet or anything like that. Even sight, sounds, anything, your senses can override because of all of the experiences that you are experiencing, using all of the senses in the different environments. So we want to use isolation in moderation. Sometimes that's not an easy thing to just do, because sometimes when you're isolated so much and you experience that, it can be extremely overwhelming. So keep it balanced. Regulating your system for a successful relationship. Psychology has said that a lot of us pick our spouses based on the relationships that we've had with the parent of the gender of which we choose. I've seen that play out a lot in my life and other people's lives as well. And I actually feel like, had I healed a long time ago, that I would not have made the choices and decisions that I have made in my love life that I did. So if I'd have learned a little earlier, it gave me a different outcome in life. We tend to gravitate towards people like our parents unconsciously. So if you had a parent that was verbally abusive, you may attract someone in your life that may be a bit of verbally abusive. So we have to heal that in us to realize that verbal abuse is definitely not okay. And just because you experienced it as a child, it's kind of programmed into you saying, oh, he's just saying something sarcastic. Oh, it's just, no. Pain is pain. When someone causes you pain or inflict it and enjoy it, that's not good. You have a standard and a self-worth, and you make people meet you there. the song changes, the melody changes. So in that, we have to learn that we are worthy to be treated like a human being, be treated with respect. We are worthy of being treated with kindness, and we're worthy of having respectful communication. And that's just an example of issue of behind a childhood trauma, that we will accept a lot of things in our relationships that we saw mirrored in our own parents' relationships. Awareness is so important, to know what your emotional weaknesses are, what you may need to work on emotionally and mentally and psychologically. A lot of people tend to neglect the emotional, social aspects of their lives because they may be chasing the bag, or they may be putting someone else before them and not taking care of their mental health. And a lot of people do that. I'm guilty of it too. So I'm speaking from experience and not judging anybody, This is judgment-free channel here. How do we heal to show up as our best selves? That's the best question. It varies. For one, I definitely want to give yourself the grace that we talked about earlier, and you want to acknowledge your issues. Therapy. I'm going to say it one more time. Therapy. Yes, we need a therapist. And sometimes, me being a life coach, there are people that I get that, they can use life coaching, but they would need therapy first. Because in order for you to meet your goals, you have to be in a healthy mindset first. Your mindset matters in planning your life and meeting goals to be a better person, or to have a bigger business or better clientele, whatever you're getting life coaching for. Therapy. Okay. We're not therapists, but we are life coaches. We do understand what you're experiencing. We understand the challenges of life and how it's so important for you to have a support system to execute certain goals that you may have in life. We understand those things. We also understand how important it is for you to have a therapist if you need one. I'm not saying go to therapy if you don't feel like you need one, or if you have a good support system around you already. If you're talking to someone or a family member who is your friend or your best friend, and you have sound, and they have sound reasoning, okay, great. You could book a session and plan some goals out. But if you have a lot of emotional hurt, pain, and things that you need to work out, therapy. I say this lovingly because I had my own set of therapy. I go to therapy too, and it's a part of your mental hygiene. So we take care of our bodies, we take care of our minds too. So hygiene is important all around, spiritual, mental, and physical. Also, ways to heal is definitely taking time out for yourself. Dig into your scriptures, huh? Knock, knock. Who's there? The good Lord. He's knocking. You gonna let him in? Listen, it is important for you to have a relationship with the Lord. You have to have a spiritual relationship with God, because there are going to be times where there's not going to be anyone but you, and these challenges will come. You're going to need to call on the Lord sooner or later. Keep your relationship up. Read your scriptures. because it will tell you exactly who you are. It will tell you exactly who he is. It will tell you exactly who you are to him. And these things are so important because identity is everything. If you know who you are, you won't have a hard time getting where you're going. Why I say that? You are a child of God. If you walked around the earth and God was your daddy, who would you be scared of? Don't worry, I'll wait. Nobody. God hasn't given us the spirit of fear. It didn't even come from him. So, when you know who you are, you know where you're going. Identity is everything. So, remember who you are. Say that all the time. Whatever the enemy is telling you, cast it down, because it's always a lie. You are worthy. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. Somebody needed to hear that just now. I felt something break. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. Now, we know you are a daughter, you are a son of the living God. Those are different ways to heal. Make sure you diet and exercise. Oh, what's the fun part, right? So you want to keep your body as healthy as possible, because it does help and does affect your mental health. What you eat does affect your mental health. So please be mindful of what you're eating as well. Whatever you do, whatever you start to help yourself to heal, like I said, it's never a one and done thing. Just take on something one day at a time. One thing at a time. So like a 21-day challenge. Whatever changes you want to make, start with little things. Implementing in your daily habits. Start with 21 day challenges. So 21 days, say you want to turn vegetarian or vegan. You just started implementing certain new dishes in, substituting your old dishes with new vegan dishes in your meal system until they are all replaced. And now you've accomplished your goal of becoming a vegan or vegetarian. Just little steps make a big difference. Definitely start with the 21-day challenges. Write down the things that you want to change about yourself. You have to reinvent yourself. And push off the lie that the enemy had put on you. When he told you you wasn't good enough, when he told you that you were ugly, if he did, when he told you that you couldn't make it, when he told you that you wouldn't amount to anything, when he told you that, he planted a seed. This is what he means by the enemy planting seeds of tares amongst his wheat. But day is coming where the wheat is about to be separated for the tares. And the tares will be in the fire, baby. Don't worry. It's time. This is the time where he is separating the weeds from the tares. Won't be able to hide behind nothing or no one. The veil is gone practically. So that's why it's so important to keep yourself in this positive mindset to make sure that you're getting what you're supposed to get. You're getting the work done, working on you, and bringing your dreams to life. The dreams that the Lord put inside of you. That's what I got for you today. Thank you for tuning in. And if you want more information about me, you can find that information at www.ebonyamara.com. All of that information is on the channel description. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. Ebony Amara, you get us out. Let's go.